What is going on, you guys? This is Erica's for the win, and we're less than a month away from Elden Ring. Just in case you guys didn't know that. All right, a couple of things though. Elden Ring has gone gold. It's been announced, so yeah, no doubt it's coming. February 25th, the game is on its way. Also, it's been said that Elden Ring can be completed in 30 hours, but of course, with the open world and extra content, there's going to be so much more to do, which will take longer, but I guess the main game, if you really fly through it, 30 hours. And then also Elden Ring is the new Game Informer cover, which looks amazing. I really want this thing. I'm hoping I can get my hands on it somehow, but we'll see. But yeah, that's just a couple tidbits, couple things that was in the news that need to be announced. I haven't talked about yet. But what I am going to talk about in this video is an article by IGN. I went ahead and read it, so you don't have to, all right? And I took the bullet points from it. We're going to talk about it, and it's basically going to confirm what I've been talking about in the past. I did a video about why you should not be intimidated by Elden Ring, especially if you're new to From Software games or you've had rocky experiences in the past and you feel the games are too hard. I did a video to convince you, basically, or reassure you, I should say, that it's not going to be that bad, that it's very manageable because of all the different tools that we have to use in the game. And so I really appreciated how From Software sat down and talked about how they're going to reduce players' stress in Elden Ring. What kind of systems are in place to help the game be more manageable for players, especially newcomers, and also what they prioritized when it came to development, which is really interesting. So we're going to touch on that. I did the bullet points for you guys, so let's get into it. So From Software had Yasuhiro Kateo there being interviewed, and he repeatedly explained how elements in the game have been tooled to reduce players' stress. In effect, it makes the game difficult in the right places, but gentler in how you reach them. So what I immediately thought of was what we knew already. Like, oh, we can take different routes if we want. We can take maybe an easier route, getting to a certain castle and stuff like that. And we could take our time, most of all. With the open world, we can farm to our heart's content and just kind of be more free with what we do in the game, right? But Kateo actually went more into the world itself and how the enemies are designed and placed, and how that's going to effectively have less stress on the players. So he says, with the game's world being so large, that can produce real depth and breadth, I don't know if I'm saying that right, of enjoyment, but it can also lead to unnecessary stress for some players. Then he said, the dev team have been very careful to avoid that where possible. So how are they going to do this, right? That's the question. It says in the article here that the bosses and enemies will be as tough as we expect them, but Kateo made it very clear that a number of changes have been made to how you get to them. One of those, of course, is the horse. The horse and being able to summon it and mount it so easily to travel or escape enemies is something that I've been talking about on this channel as a way of like a plan B, so to speak. If you're in trouble, the horse is there to help. And it's a quality of life in terms of the open world itself, because obviously you're going to be traversing, you're going to be going up and down mountains, you're going to be going long distances, and the horse is going to be really clutch in terms of just that alone. It'll make the traveling less tedious, and Kateo even said in the interview that the horse provides a stress-free method of traveling across the long distances the player needs to travel in the game. So yeah, obviously having a horse with long distances is going to make those distances seem shorter, of course. So that's a quality of life thing there. The article also says, it's a system that is a means of quickly and enjoyably moving vertically upward in order to explore higher places. So yeah, again, getting up those mountains, getting up there quicker, quality of life stuff that is super important and I really appreciate. I'm all about quality of life. If it could make it more smooth, I'm all for it. And speaking of traversing and, the open world, Kateo also talked about fast travel, which will come in very handy. So when we die or we just want to get somewhere quicker, Fast travel will be available for us to travel to locations we've already discovered, and it will offer even less stress because we'll have a smoother journey throughout the world. Also, when it comes to the open world, the regular enemies are going to be strategically placed so that there's balance to the map, so that it doesn't feel empty, but at the same time, it's not going to overwhelm the player. And that goes for item distribution as well. So it's going to feel, plentiful. It's going to feel like it's balanced, like there's not too many items or too many enemies, but just enough. And maybe there's some nice ones once we look around a bit. But we're going to feel that sense of reward for exploring and going around and defeating enemies and then coming across their treasure or something like that. Because that's kind of what they've been showing in the network test and showing in the previews. You have these big carriages that are being carried by enemies and protected by, and you kill those enemies and then you get to open that treasure and get the armor or whatever's in there. So yeah, you're going to have these rewards throughout the world that are placed in very good spots. I'm very happy to hear this because Kateo said that fine-tuning these placements and timings have been ongoing until the very end. So clearly this was a top priority for From Software. That just sounds really good to hear. And it makes me even more excited for exploring and just going through the open world. I mean, that's probably one of the best things of this interview to me, that it was their top priority. That just is awesome. He also confirmed that day and weather effects wouldn't alter enemy placements, although a very small number of enemy types will only appear at night. So you're going to have those freaks coming out at night. That's kind of common. I've seen that many times in different other games. And yeah, it's going to be a little more dangerous at night. But during the day, the enemies are not going to be in different placements. So much like the other From Software games, you're going to know where these enemies lie. Where they are is where they are. And you'll memorize that, you'll remember, and you'll know what you're getting into if you've been there before. So that's something else you can count on if you're a little bit, intimidated and thinking, oh, these enemies are going to just come out of nowhere. Not really. They're going to be in the same spots you've seen them before. So you'll know what you're getting into, basically. But the nighttime, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm kind of up for it. I want to see some unpredictability at night. I think that would make it a little more interesting. But also it gives you that way out too. If you're trying to avoid those enemies, you can maybe, rest till the day. That's something that, it's not uncommon for open world games. I've played games like that before where you rest and you wait till the daytime cycle so that way you can avoid certain enemies. It's a thing. So that's something to know, right? Kateo, he was quoted about that. He said, changing enemies for all times of the day would create a kind of pressure on users to play the game at various different times. So again, he's focusing on the daytime, that it's not going to be unpredictable. It's not going to be crazy enemy placements. It's going to be predictable for the most part. And you're just going to play it normally. You're not going to be like avoiding certain times of the day, like 4:00 p.m. or something like that. Also, checkpoints are going to be a thing. They're going to help in this game. So if you die, you can select the option of respawning very near the spot of your death to reattempt whatever you were doing. You couple that with fast travel, and it should not be much of a problem to get back to where you died. That way you can get your runes back, which is your souls. It won't be as stressful, right? That's what this whole article is about, limiting the stress. So it's basically going to make the journey in Elden Ring better and smoother as far as quality of life. You're not going to feel just completely lost or completely like, damn, I have to travel all that way because I just died. You're not going to feel that pressure because you have these options of fast travel, checkpoints, the horse to mount so you can get there quicker, and all that good stuff to help the quality of life just go up, which is awesome. And overall, the difficult fights are going to be there. We're going to get destroyed at some point. We're going to die. It's going to happen. You're going to have a lot of deaths, I'm sure. But getting back to where you were, defeating the enemies afterwards and all that, it's going to feel a bit less stressful because of the open world and the distances that you have to travel and that are involved in the game. That's why there's these systems in place to make it more smooth of an experience. So again, I really liked how From Software sat down and talked about these little, things in the game and these systems, because it reassures gamers, especially new ones coming in, who are going to play this maybe for their first From Software game ever. I think it'll give them some reassurance and make them feel a little bit better. It's what I've been trying to do on this channel with other videos. I try and reassure and let you guys know that it's not going to be that bad. There's plenty of things to help. And it's really cool how From Software is kind of, saying the same message too. So yeah, you guys, I really liked this interview. I thought it was great. Those were all the bullet points that were covered in the article. I guess shout out to IGN for posting it. It was informative and good, they did a good job. So that's pretty much it, you guys. Let me know what you think about all this information. We are in the final lap, you guys. Less than a month till Elden Ring releases, and it's going to be incredible. So yeah, you guys, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you think, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.